fantastic. Coomzy, are you feeling the good vibes? Like, as I mentioned, I'm a man. The Sunday scaries, the Sunday blues always come for me. Maybe it could be because of all the beers I had yesterday, but Coomzy, I'm feeling good after that hockey game. We're sitting here trying to pick the good, bad, and oily. For the second one, I'm going, I don't really know, dude. Vibe check, Coomzy. How we doing?
The vibes are really high. I mean, I got to say, how nice is that game just flew by. It started, felt like we didn't have to wait super long for it to go. It just happened quickly, and it's still light outside. It's 7:40 p.m. local time, and it feels like still got the blue sky, still got the sun a little bit. Just feels like it's the middle of the day still. It's nice.
Yeah, it really does. Oilersnation After Dark, while the
Oilers
sun is
Nation,
still
yeah,
up.
while the sun's still up.
Dude,
Love that.
spring is sprung. Spring is sprung. And as I mentioned, the Masters was electric. It's always watching the Masters in golf, and then it's some sun outside. That's when you're like, okay, we're back. You got baseball in full swing. We're back. Connor McBack is back. So are we as well. Coomzy, not a ton of hype coming into this hockey game tonight, right? Sunday nighter, the Jets had clinched the 1 seed in the West. Still trying to get that President's Trophy, though. The Oilers, they're locked in. They're going to play LA in round 1. Now, once again, home ice advantage still technically possible for the Oilers. But the Edmonton Oilers, they just thoroughly beat the best team in the NHL in the Winnipeg Jets. I'm curious here as I'm just trying to look at what the deserve to win a meter was in this hockey game. 70% plus, 72.4% on the deserve to win a meter. So
higher,
you got to feel pretty good about that. The shots total, 39-18 for the Edmonton Oilers. And it was really kind of back and forth in the first period. But from the second on, the final 40 minutes, the Oilers just took it to the Winnipeg Jets. They outshot them in the second 18-5 in that period. And in the game, we saw Connor McDavid do Connor McDavid things. Beautiful first goal by Connor McBrown is now what I'm calling him. McDavid strips the puck, turns defense into offense literally instantly. It's fantastic. We saw Corey Perry scores 18th goal of the season. We saw depth scoring. Now, there is something bad that producer Brett just did remind me about in the chat. So we'll get into that with the bad. No need to rain on any parades right now. But the Oilers, that was just a solid road win. Keeps the dream alive. Like we mentioned, the Oilers need to win tonight and the remaining 2 games. And I believe the LA Kings are not allowed to win a game in their next 3 hockey games. That's how the Oilers are going to punch their ticket. Step 1 complete, Coomzy. You got to win 1 before you can win 2, before you can win 3. Tonight, big dubs.
Yeah, honestly, this was it felt like a nice statement win for the Oilers. I mean, to be fair, like to the given the context with Winnipeg here, they had just played against Chicago, I believe, the night before, and it was a game that went to overtime. So a late one for them, and they come back, of course, long bus ride to Winnipeg, as we know. That's always a difficult one for the Jets. So, I mean, yeah, the context here is that they're a tired team, but you'd think there was a little bit more motivation for Winnipeg playing in front of their home crowd. They're going to be able to clinch the President's Trophy, and it was a pretty, just like a complete steamroll bull over by the Oilers in that game. It was Winnipeg just looked completely lifeless, and the Oilers just dominated them.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wondering, oh yeah, I guess Connor Hellebuck is that valuable to that hockey team, because that didn't look like the best team in the NHL. Once again, they are probably the best team in the NHL this season. But either way, it also tonight, Coom, was the return of Stuart Skinner. The stash was back, and I thought he was pretty good. He had not played since March 26th when Mikko Rantanen hit him in the head, concussion, neck injury, whatever you want to call it. And I thought in this one, he was pretty solid, dude. Final numbers, stuff 17 of 18 for, as was what was mentioned in the chat, a 944 save percentage in his return. I thought Stu was moving well, reacted well, made big saves. I thought more so in the beginning of the hockey game. I remember he robbed Nino Niederreiter, I think it was. And then, we'll be real, wasn't totally tested a ton in this hockey game, but made big stops when he needed to do it. Coomzy, we talked on pre-gaming that the game 1 starter discussion, it is paramount in oil country right now. Picks or Stu or picks, what are you going to do? And that the plan was these 3 remaining games. Stu was going to get 2 of them. Picks was going to get 1. Now, we said, I don't really know what Stuart Skinner would have to do to really make us confident in him for game 1 of the NHL playoffs. Now, I'd say in this, he didn't do anything to make me less confident. That's for sure. He was solid, gets the W in his return. Thoughts on Stuart Skinner?
Yeah, I think this is sort of the problem you want to have if you're the Oilers. I mean, you don't want to be in a situation where Stuart Skinner has his concussion against Dallas, misses a handful of games, comes back at the end of the season, either re-aggravates that injury or has a really rough couple of games, and you're like, all right, we absolutely have to go with Cal Pickard no matter what in the playoffs. You'd rather have that be a decision. You'd rather have Stuart Skinner come back, play well in his 2 starts, and Cal Pickard play well against the Kings. He's been good throughout the entire stretch of Skinner being out, minus that 1 game against the Seattle Kraken where they got pumped. Otherwise, he's been fantastic. So if the Oilers have 2 goalies that are playing well going into the playoffs, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's kind of the dream situation. And once again, we hope it's just 1 game from Stuart Skinner, but that was a team defense game. I don't care about injuries, whatever, at the end of the year. You hold that team to 18 shots against. That is something to be proud of. That's something to hang your hat on. Another thing to be proud of is that Connor McDavid wears a sweater for the Edmonton Oilers. I mentioned that first goal, just beautiful shit from Connor McDavid, stripping the puck from Alex Iafallo, feeding Connor Brown, who, once again, looking like Connor McBrown lately. McDavid, he's just been torching since he's been back. He's now got 9 assists in 3 games since coming back from his injury. He's just had this significant jump in his step as well. It's kind of the blessing in disguise thing that if he was able to sit out those games, and if he's the only Oiler here that will actually sit out games and then come back to 100% strength, well, shit, it worked at least for 97. But the thing is, dude, Connor McDavid and Connor Brown are building some chemistry here as we round out the end of the NHL season. Jeff Skinner included on that line. Connor McBrown looks completely different. He's showing hands. Who said it there in the chat? He's got the hands of a 40-goal scorer. He has 4 goals in his last 3 games and has really shown that offensive flash lately and showing the chemistry with Connor McDavid. I believe Brownie's up to 13 goals now on the season, which if I told you that last year, you would say, Boardsy, that's nuts. Because in 71 games last year, he had 4 goals. But similar to last season, Brownie started to heat up at the end of the year. And then we got into the NHL playoffs where that Rico featuring Brownmark third line, whether it was 5v5, whether it was on the PK, those guys were an asset to the Oilers. They were scoring big goals. Kind of feels like the same thing here again for Connor Brown, but Coomzy, kind of the big discussion right now online, and it's another fun one to have when you think about this Oilers lineup when it's fully healthy. We all think of 93, 97, and 18. That's the Oilers' top line. That's the trio we all know and love. But could you get a little creative with things? Could you have Nuge play 3C? Could you keep Jeff Skinner with McDavid and Connor Brown to start game 1 of the playoffs? Nobby's been very verbal and committing and saying, we're riding the best lineup possible, the people that give us the best chance to win, and we're going to ride that hot hand. No other way to put it. That trio right now looking pretty red hot. Coomzy, thought on that trio of Jeff Skinner, Connor McDavid, and Connor Brown, and could they start game 1 of the NHL playoffs together?
I think we definitely could see that. I mean, it's kind of funny to think about. These are 2 players who were sort of recruited to the Oilers by Connor McDavid. Of course, Connor Brown's the line mate he played with in the OHL back in his junior days, and Jeff Skinner, another player who we reached out to after the Oilers lost in the Stanley Cup final, and he had his contract bought out by the Buffalo Sabres. And these are 2 guys who haven't really seen as much ice time with Connor McDavid as you would have expected given that situation. Both of them are guys that he sort of convinced to come and play for the team, or not really convinced, but sort of played a little bit of agent / GM a little bit to get them here. And they're 2 players who haven't always been, especially in Jeff Skinner's case. I mean, we talk about this all the time. It seems like it took 8 different injuries pretty much for him to be getting in top 6 minutes and playing with McDavid. There was that one stretch he had where he was playing with Leon Draisaitl for a little while, but really not very much consistent minutes for Jeff Skinner. But I think if you're the Oilers, you're ideally looking for lines where you can have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl split up. You don't want to have them being together and then hoping the rest of your roster can figure it out. Ideally, you can split McDavid, Draisaitl, and then have Nugent-Hopkins as the 3C as well. I think that's the strongest version of the Oilers.
When I think about it, like, this is me just spitballing here, thinking out loud, but I think for game one, because once again, you can go back to Nuge, McDavid, and Hyman just like that. You know it's there. It's in the safety well. It's in the chamber. You're ready to go. But I am a believer in riding the hot hand in the sense that for me, I might start game one, Jeff Skinner, McDavid, Connor Brown, Pods, Draisaitl, Arvidsson, Nuge, Perry, Hyman. And then your fourth line could be Frederick, Rico, and I don't even know. You get to play with that.
Yeah, who's even available? It's hard to even say. Like, is Frederick going to be there? Is Evander Kane going to be there? Who knows?
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.